Alright, so in this video we're going to look at pairs of angles. We're going to be looking at adjacent angles, vertical angles, supplementary angles, and complementary angles. Alright, so first we're going to look at adjacent angles. Adjacent angles are angles that have a common vertex and a common side but no common interior points. So if you look at this drawing over here to the right, they both share, angle 1 and angle 2 have that side that touches. So this is the common side. So this right here is a common side. They both intersect at that point B, so that's our common vertex. Okay. So we can label, when we label this, we can say angle, that's a symbol for angle, angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles. We can also name angles by their letters, but the vertex has got to be in the middle. So we could say angle A, B, D, and we can also say angles D, B, C. Looking at the examples down in the bottom half are non-adjacent angles. So if you look at angle 1 and angle 2, they have different vertices. So these have different vertices. So one is there and one is there. They're not the same, so therefore they're not adjacent angles. If you look at the other drawing, angle 2 actually overlaps angle 1. If you see an overlap, that makes it non-adjacent. So angle 2 overlaps angle 1, so that's not adjacent. Alright, so looking at vertical angles. Vertical angles are formed by two intersecting lines and are opposite each other. Vertical angles are always congruent or equal. So if you look over here, angle 1 and angle 3, they're opposite each other. So we could say angle 1 equals angle 3. We could also say, you might see the little m there means measure. Measure of angle 1 is congruent to the measure of angle 2, where the m, that little m means measure, and this symbol here means congruent. Okay. And also angle 2 and angle 4 would be congruent. So we could say angle 2 equals angle 4, and the measure of angle 2 is congruent to the measure of angle 4. Right, supplementary angles are two angles that have a sum of 180, or they form a straight line. So if you look here, if you put angle 1 and 2 together, they make this straight line here. So we know if we take angle 1 and we add angle 2, that's going to equal 180 degrees. Well, let's say that the measure of angle 2 was 100. We could find angle 1, so you could just plug it in. So you could take this and plug it in there. So angle 1 plus 100 equals 180, which would mean that angle 1 would have to equal 80 degrees. Complementary angles are two angles that have a sum of 90. So you add them together and you get 90. And to see if angles are right angles or 90 degrees, you usually see a symbol like this. I just put in red there. It looks like a little in the corner. So if you've got this, we should know that if together they add up to 90, that in this case angle 7 plus angle 8 is going to equal 90 degrees. Well, what if we knew that the measure of angle 8, say, was 50? We could just take that, plug it in there, so that angle 7 plus 50 would equal 90, and angle 7 would therefore have to be 40 degrees. Perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect to form right angles, which are of course 90 degrees. So you would see a symbol in here that would tell you that they're right angles. When we name lines, we can name lines by the lowercase letter. So here we have line A and line B. We could say that A is perpendicular to B. So perpendicular That's the symbol for perpendicular. That's when you say the symbol, that's what it means. You can also label lines by their points. Points are capital letters. Lines are named after lowercase letters. So you might also see like line DB is perpendicular to line EC. Alright, so we're going to use all of that information that we just talked about to find some missing angles. We know that angle 6 here is going to be 58 degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and label that. If you look at angle 1 and angle 6, those are complementary, so those should equal 90 degrees. So I know measure of angle 1 should be 90 minus 58, which is 32 degrees. So this one's going to be 32 degrees. If you look at angle 1 and angle 4, those are vertical angles. So those are going to be congruent. So we should know angle 1 is also going to be 32 degrees. If you look at angle 6 and angle 3, those are vertical angles, so they're going to be equal. So this should also be 58 degrees. That one was 32. So angle 3 is 58. Angle 2 is 90 degrees, and angle 5, well, that's vertical of 2, so this is going to be also 90 degrees. So that's 90. That one's 90, and angle 6 we were given. That's 58 degrees.